Hello, welcome. This is Amy of the Mystic Rose Tarot. Happy spring equinox. Happy Ostara, which took place this weekend, March 20th. Today, we are bringing in the first of our astrological signs of the astrological year. So we are now starting a new sign, a new season, and we're going to wind our way all the way back to the month of Capricorn, the season of Yule, the winter season, but we're already moving out from that. So many blessings to everyone during this season as we start getting ready to come out of hibernation, to start planting seeds or to start nurturing what was planted over the autumn, winter months, and to manifest its energy, whether it's plants, flowers, your own well-being. This is the time to do it. Sun is starting to come out where I live. It's still a little chilly, but I really appreciate this light. Warmth will be coming in the next few days for now, so I'm really embracing this seasonal change. So with that introduction being stated, let's get into our first decan, 0-10 degrees for the month of Aries. Aries is running from March 20th to April 19th, and then from April 20th to, I believe it's May 20th or 21st, or May 19th or 20th, then we go into Gemini. So I will be doing this every 8 to 10 days. I'm a little behind by 1 day with this decan because of the Sabbath weekend for me. So I took time to honor that and just put a day off for this decan. So let's just go into it. 0-10 degrees. March 21st to March 30th marks the first decan for the sign of Aries and in the month of March. And I have some cards here that I go to break down the meanings, the interpretations of the signs of planetary influence and the minor arcana card of influence. So for here, my regular card of guidance, here, is from the Unified Esoteric Tarot. And this welcomes in the initiative, Mars and Aries. Now, whenever we do the first decan normally represents the first week of that astrological sign in that month. So here we are in the first week of Aries. So the planetary influence for that astrological month, the sign of Aries or of Pisces or of Taurus, will represent its ruling planetary sign, or planetary influence, I should say. So Mars is the ruling planet for Aries. And like for Pisces, the ruling planet for Pisces is seen, depending on which tradition of astrology you practice. I focused on both. Traditionally, it is seen as Neptune. And going back, it was seen as the sign for Pluto. But here, let's move ahead, Mars and Aries. So each new astrological month will have a planet that is the ruling planet of that sign for that first decan. Okay, so as you can see here, Mars is a planet that governs action, aggression, confidence, moving very quick. It's a cardinal sign of Aries. Cardinal represents the start of new seasons. They get things going. They start pushing things forward based on their sign, their element of influence. Aries' element is fire. So with that combination of starting a new season, cardinal. And Aries, being the leader, taking charge, the first sign of the astrological month or astrological year. Also, it rules the first house in the houses of the 12 astrological signs. And so with the 12 astrological signs, the first house, very briefly, represents the self, the ego. It defines who we are as individuals, how we physically look, and particularly our perspective of the world, how we see things, but also how we deal with struggles. Aries is a sign, like I said, it's ruled by Mars, so Mars tends to deal with challenges and aggressive behavior at times. So that plays an influence into the first house, which is ruled in the sign of Aries. So how we handle that. Now, all other signs that people have that come in the first house, if it's Aries, Taurus, or whatnot, those characteristics of that particular sign plays a part in that first house. So Taurus would more or less represent how they see things, their appearance, so on and so forth. But here, we also have the minor arcana card of influence, the Two of Wands. And so with the Two of Wands, we start seeing, and I'm going to go into this a little bit more in detail, we're going to see the starting actions, how we are preparing to take initiative in something that means a lot to us. What is our desire? What inspires us? What moves us? So here with the Unified Esoteric Tarot, Mars in Aries is comfortable. This is a proper planet and sign placement because they enhance each other. They nourish each other. They fuel each other. The energy is very strong. It's very motivational. It's encouraging during this first decan from March 21st to the 30th, specifically this week as we're going into our first week of spring. It's not quick movement. It's building up a momentum. We're starting to take action. It's not quick, but we start seeing ways that we could start taking steps forward towards what we want to accomplish. With this decan, we take this opportunity to follow our heart's desire, what inspires us the most, and what inspires us the most. Do it with the most optimistic perspective that you can have. Clear away any obstacles that may be in your way. You want to have a clear path so that when you're getting ready to manifest those actions, to start making those steps, you have a clear pathway. It's like you're cleaning the slate, making sure everything is clear so that you can move ahead and work towards that desired goal. I'm going to put this down here for a moment. Now with the Two of Wands, that's our minor arcana card of influence. And as I was saying earlier, the Two of Wands indicates the first signs, the first steps, the first initiatory actions that we are going to be taking towards our intention. And we see this here with the Two of Wands. Okay, and this is from the Pagan Otherworlds. I'm going to give some different perspectives here. And here is from the Lumina Tarot. And we have Two of Wands here. Let me hold this in such a way so it's clear. There you go. And we have different energies here that are happening. Here with the Pagan Otherworlds, you're seeing these two wands, batons that are firmly rooted, and we're starting to see growth. So we're already starting to see the process, the emotional process, the thought process, and the effort, the energy that's putting into working towards our intention. We're starting to see progression with the Two of Wands on the Pagan Otherworlds. Here, with the Two of Wands, we see the background. It's clear, but we're seeing energy. We're seeing a little bit of movement of energy here. Clouds are clear, or the sky is clear, which is giving us that open space. And the same here, we have a clear background just in the distance. The landscape is just there to show for the stability. But here we're seeing these wands. We're seeing this energy that's hovering. It's getting ready. The tools have already been prepared. There's some glyphs and some sigils that are already placed to already put that intention, the direction, the energy that you want to put into to your goals. So here we're starting to see the preparation. Here it's through the growth that we see here, the sprouting leaves. And here it's more energetic. And we see the concentric circles here. We're starting to see the form, the forming of the concept. Laying the groundwork, that's very important. And with the 2 of Wands here, you want to make sure that you utilize all the sources that you have around you. Make sure these are sources that are going to benefit you. And also take into consideration the pace that you want to move while you're manifesting these actions. And as I mentioned, the 2 of Wands, we're still starting early. Ace of Wands was the beginning. We already have the ideas. We're starting to feel that things are going to start moving. We already have that energy building. It's like starting the car and letting it warm up. And here, we're starting to make the movement. The pace that we take with this is very important. You don't want to be rushed. You want to be mindful with your actions and with your thoughts and with your emotions when working with the 2 of Wands. These energies are so important. The other thing I want to point out is keep in mind whatever intention, the actions, the emotions, the direction that you're putting this into will more than likely change the course of your life, because this is a new experience and this is something that we're taking in. Another thing to consider too is your commitment. How much of a commitment are you ready to make into this, into the desire that you really want to pursue? Look at your personal values about what you're working on, your beliefs. Make sure the values and beliefs that you have and what you're working towards are of honesty to yourself. You're being true to yourself in doing this. And make sure that this represents who you are, because once you take these actions and you've already laid the groundwork and you're getting ready, you're making this commitment. And also take into consideration what has taken place so far in your life. And what are the changes that you want to manifest at this time? And in doing so, how do you want to make this even better than what you've had before, or to completely change it around? What do you need to put in to this energy towards your intention that will give your life more of success, fullness, wholeness? Now's the time to take these actions for personal success. It's very important. Now, I'm not going to say in contrast, the other card that I have here, which I normally have been showing with my Decan readings, is from the Tarot of the Holy Light. And this is the 2 of Wands. But here, I point this out because in case people are looking at the cards and the detail that I have here, We're seeing a different rulership. We're seeing the sun influence with Mars. And with my guiding card from the Unified Esoteric Tarot, we're seeing Mars in Aries. Okay, the sun is a fire energy, and Mars is a planet of fiery action. The difference between Mars's energy and the sun's energy, they're both forces, but the sun's energy is life force. It's more enhancing, it's more of vitality, it's more of giving clarity and positivity in the situation. I'm not saying Mars's energy isn't positive, but it tends to be very forceful, very fast, very direct, and it doesn't come across as a gentle form of action. Here, in the Chair of the Holy Light, what we're seeing here, and it's not obvious. You have to look into the guidebook and see how Christine Painteller has painted the meanings and in the pictorial depictions of each of these cards. Here, we have the sun as the guiding source and strength for the energies of love and wrath, optimism and pessimism. Okay? So we have the love, the healing energy of optimistic energy of this side representing love. Here we have wrath. It's darker, it's heavier. This card can represent the approach that is being taken towards our goals, towards our aspirations. They are one and the same because they work off of each other. It's almost like Venus and Mars. It's kind of the energy that we're getting from this card. Venus can soothe the fiery aspect of wrath. Venus being love, wrath being Mars, aggression. But then again, that kind of energy, the Mars energy and the sun can actually enhance that. The sun can actually aggravate that wrath because it's so much energy, it's so much that's being put into these feelings that it can actually make it very challenging. And so what I feel is very important, they're both transformational elements, love and wrath. One can weaken and the other can empower the other. And the sun's vitality and guidance is determined how we use these aspects of optimism and pessimism towards our personal growth, towards what we're seeking. Be honest again with yourself. Draw what is of strength to you, what is going to empower you, and release anything that could be blocking, anything that could be challenging you from moving ahead in your goals. This is very similar to what I was saying here. The Two of Wands, both of these cards. Here we have a very stable scene. We're getting ready. We're making steps. We're already starting to see the prospects of growth and nurturing towards our goals. The same here. This energy, I think, is a little bit more active than this. But we're seeing the plans, the planning. We're seeing the groundwork that's already being set up, the concepts that we have. We're seeing the energy in the background starting to build up. We're seeing through the sigils and the ligatures that have been carved into the wands as making the commitment. Here we're seeing, I feel the energy here is more active. It's the blending, it's the working between these two different energies? Are we going to take a realistic and level-headed perspective towards what we're going to do? Or are we going to become overwhelmed and thinking far ahead of what needs to be done instead of working with the moment, feeling weight on the shoulders, feeling a little bit heavy, feeling negative, in turn feeling more negative, aggressive towards your endeavors, and that's what we don't want. We want the sun to fuel Aries direction in a positive way. We want to work more in this direction and take a loving, compassionate direction in how we are going to accomplish our goals. We don't want to be heavy. We don't want to be weighed down. Don't think so far ahead. Don't feel too overwhelmed. Don't feel that pressure. We have to alleviate this. If you're facing self-doubts about your endeavors, take this time to look at the sun's life force as inner encouragement and find that self-belief that you can move ahead in confidence. Okay, so we want to create an understanding between these two different energy sources and how the sun can put more energy in one that could be more positive, and how the sun can maybe put too much energy into something that's negative and can make it feel overwhelmed. If you're starting to have self-doubt, slow down your process. Maybe it's not this time to do it, or maybe to work a little bit towards your intention. You don't want to become overwhelmed, and next thing you know, you're going to fall off course. It's so important, especially since we're starting the new season. We're in the first week of Aries, new astrological sign, year. Let's put it with a good start. Let's put it with love and self-belief and trust that you can go through this. And just honor your pace. Honor your pace. Don't feel like, okay, I got this. Be very careful if you put a time frame on when you want to accomplish your goals. I think it's best to just go ahead, set the goal, and just work towards it. As you're building experience and as things are coming towards you, as you're getting support, or if there are some sidetracks, work at that pace. Work at the level of how things are happening. If something comes by to distract, focus on that, take care of that situation, and move on. Do not ignore it. By ignoring a detour, you're doing a disservice to yourself. You're not honoring something that's coming up that needs to be taken care of so that you can move on. Don't procrastinate. Don't put that aside. Keep it going. And Aries, I think, aren't really procrastinators. They go in, they do things with dedication, determination, and they give their all to it. And if something comes in, if a challenge comes in, work with it and move on. Don't get stuck in that realm, because you're going to be sidetracked, and that's something that we don't want. You don't want to start having the pessimism, the wrath, that heaviness overcome and overtake and weaken what you have been growing and empowering. You got to put that aside. Keep focused and keep on the path. Don't sidetrack. If you have to stop, but don't make it long. Temporary is a good way to work with something that comes your way, whether it's good or bad. Take care of it and continue moving on. And that's what Aries is all about, movement. continue moving, keep going, but also be mindful of what's going on in your environment and also with you. You may want to take a moment to stop and check in and see how you're doing during this whole process. So use the guidance of the Two of Wands to begin creating the needed changes toward your endeavors. Don't make changes as you're going through this process. You need to know exactly what you need to do and do it. Aries is about having that direction and having everything all lined up. And again, working with the sources that you have that will empower you and that will help you so that you can move forward clearly and with very little obstacles. You do so with optimism and confidence. And again, if challenges do come up, remain determined to see your plans all the way through to the end, thick or thin. You have the power to direct where you're going to lead things in your life, choices that you make. Wavering off course will hinder the process and, again, could temporarily sidetrack your focus towards aiming towards those personal successes. Another thing that we have to remember with the Two of Wands, I'm going to go back to a unified esoteric tarot card here. It's also asking us, before we start moving ahead, how committed and ambitious are we towards this intention that we've set? Are you willing to manifest everything that you've planned and make it happen? Are you willing to work hard enough to see the outcome? And if you have Mars and Aries naturally in your chart, if your first house is in Aries, or if you have a lot of Aries energy, you will understand the importance of staying on that direction, staying on that path, being focused. But very important, remain optimistic. Aries rules the head physically, so it was all of this energy here. Not so much the thoughts, but Aries can get prone to potentially putting too much fiery energy into their thoughts and overthinking and maybe burning out those wheels that are spinning. And that's what we don't want. So again, as we're going through this first decan of March 21st through March 30th, we want to pace ourselves. Okay? And also it's kind of hard, I feel it's kind of hard to jump right out of, especially the sign of Pisces, where we're dealing more with the underlying currents of what's going on within ourselves. It's more on the spiritual side of self-discovering the self and going into some darker issues. We want to ease ourselves out of that time. We're easing ourselves out of winter. That subconscious realm that we come out of can be a shock if you go up too quickly. And I know there's a term for people who are scuba divers. I think it's decompression. If you go up too quickly, if you go up too much, you could pass out. You could die because the oxygen level isn't being paced as you're moving up from underneath the surface to above the line, to above the water line. So you have to ease yourself into this. And this is how you should apply your directions. So use the Two of Wands energy as your firm energy support. Like I have my wand right here. I have a few around the house, but this is your source. This is your reminder. You have the tools there. Work with them mindfully. And also, in turn, as things are growing and moving in your direction towards your intention, everything that's starting to show, people will be watching. They'll be seeing the progression. And in turn, this is one of the characteristics of Aries. Aries are known because of the confidence and the strength that they have, the determination. They are seen as, for the most part, trustful leaders. You can trust in them. They will do what it takes to protect their town, their family, themselves. It's something that means a lot. If it's a responsibility that's been given to them, they will forthright do what it takes to protect the welfare and the environment of what's important to them. So with that being said, have that confidence. Use this vitality that we see here with the sun. Even though we're talking about Mars and Aries with the Unified Esoteric Tarot, we can still work with that confidence and that aggressive energy. We have to balance it. We have to work with it in such a way. We don't want too much. Okay, so the Two of Wands also gives us this balance of working with these fiery energies and the movement that we're going to put into what means the most to us, our desires, our intentions, how we manifest this. So that's where we are here, 0 to 10 degrees. Our first decan for the month of Aries, from March 21st to March 30th. I will be back around the 31st or April 1st. I think April 1st is on a Friday. And I may have to do 1 or 2 days after, because I have a potential commitment on that date. So, or maybe I'll do it beforehand, the recording for that reading. So we're going to go through the next few months, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. We're going to discuss these characteristics of the planets, the signs, the house that rules that particular sign, the minor arcana, the energy that sign has and the planet's influence, and the suit. We're going to be in Wands for the month of Aries, and then when we get into Taurus, we're going to move into Pentacles and coins. So we're gonna see this progression. So any questions, please let me know. I'm enjoying sharing this information about the decans. It's definitely deepening my practice and providing a lot of insight into my tarot practice, and it's been wonderful. So I appreciate everyone who watches, who comments, who supports me on YouTube, on Instagram, my website. I do readings. I don't exclusively do this just for YouTube. I have a website. I have a listing for my readings. So if you like a reading, if you like the energy and the messages that I'm getting when I do my videos, feel free to contact me. I love to keep in touch with everyone, know how they're doing. I respect everyone's privacy, so I don't ask too many questions, but just to let you know, I'm here if you like to learn. And I do offer tutorials if anyone's interested in learning about the tarot, the decans. I'm not an astrologer. I have to emphasize that. I'm just incorporating the astrological decans and the signs and the planets and the houses because I feel those influences work good for me within the tarot, and I can expand that into my readings in many different ways. So that's it. I will be back again for more episodes. I do live readings now once a week. The dates aren't set; they tend to fluctuate, but I will probably be doing one in the next few days this week. Just hit subscribe or the notification bell, and you get to see when I'll be doing my next live readings. Those readings are, I ask for donations, no pressure, but if you feel that the reading has been of substance for you or helpful, every little bit helps. It goes towards the channel, my tools, upgrading, which looks like it's going to have to happen soon enough with what I have right now. But I'm working with what I got and making do. Thank you for your support, for watching, everyone. My name is Amy, Mystic Rose Tarot. I will catch all of you next time again soon. Thank you again for the support.